Damn it. Even we want to be big.
Ha ha ha! Then you'd better eat some spinach and drink your milk. Eating like fish is supposed to work too. Eating little fish.
Don't mock me.
And Nina, why don't you stop being embarrassed and change the way you talk? That's right, you look cute after all. If you could just fix that dialect.
That's enough out of you. Language is the pride of person's hometown, so mind your own beeswax.
Thank you. Well, just you wait. We'll make bigger and bigger names for ourselves and become Wayne's right-hand men. Rumor has it Wayne's forming an elite guard for Madame Rose. The day we get chosen for that might be the day we become legends. We're pretty good at shooting and fighting. I wonder if he'll pick me. I wouldn't lose in a contest of shooting or fighting. Doesn't Wayne telling you to show some restraint? Why don't you just keep on studying forever instead of getting in the way? Try and remember just a little bit more trouble you've caused your comrades by jumping the gun. And anyway, you guys have a totally different talent, don't you?
Ah, yeah. Why don't you just make a living off of that?
Might as well have a few wild dogs who can do tricks.
Ha 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 ha.
Clearly, the three of them were being treated like the dunces of the Wild Dogs crew. Well, I mean, they're clearly a lot smaller, a lot younger. The store was filled with people bragging about their suits and stories about their jobs. Even though the three of them had been so bright and cheery a second ago, once everyone showed up, they all shrank up. Unable to blend in with the happy circle of people, the three dropouts quietly rose from their seats. Then, as though trying to hide, they moved to some lonely seats in the back near the bathroom. They sure say mean things to their comrades, don't they? They're right about all of it. We're dropouts, after all. We keep messing up bad enough to disgust them. Nothing we can say can change that. We're always the ones who get told, don't do anything that'll make things worse. In the end, back alleys are a perfect fit for us. We can't even become bodyguards, much less legends.
So when Wayne asked us directly to look after you, we were all really happy. Felt like Wayne hadn't forgotten about us after all.
If anything, we don't want you to be inconvenienced in any way. Once we've looked after you until your memory returns, we'll finally be able to clear our bad names a bit. I sort of don't like letting this slide. I want to smack the cheeks of all those people over there, who are clearly looking this way and giggling. The moment my anger became unbearable, the store was suddenly filled with motion. Everyone rose from their seats and the clamor suddenly died down. Oh, Wayne's here. Wayne's here. Every time I see him, he's got such a dignified look. We wish we could be a man that big someday. Now that he was appearing as a boss, Wayne had a whole different feel to him than the last time we met. I don't know much about the criminal underworld, but this is probably the sense of formidability it takes to be a boss. By the time he stood behind the counter, the once noisy store had gone completely silent. Welcome, everyone. Is there any news? Ian's wife scratched up his face and kicked him out of the house. Ah! Again, can't let someone with a face like that be seen in the club. Don't forget that being a bodyguard is also a service industry. A man covered with wounds scratched his head, and someone coughed. Listen up, right now Primavera is in the middle of vital negotiations with Chinatown. Madame Rose is proposing an important plan for City 23's sake. Wonder what that is. Madame Rose is always worrying about the employment agency. A lot of outsiders came, and now the people of the city can't get jobs. And the resentment might be part of the reason there's been so many fights with Chinese people lately. There have been a lot of trouble, there have even been cases of outsider Japanese men stirring up trouble on their own. So it would be a real nuisance if someone like that started up a conflict between us and the GDS. We're at a moment when we can't afford to stir up any trouble with Chinatown, understand? It'll be a pain if the poor fight each other and a Chinese person gets involved and injured. Keep an eye out to make sure no Chinese people get caught up in any fights. Check the entertainment areas, post stations, and back alleys near Chinatown. Any place where fools might make a scene. Even if both parties in the fight bear responsibility, if someone on their side is injured, there'll be another card in their hand. Put a stop to anything that might hold Madame Rose back. Yes, boss! Lee is probably thinking the same thing. If a fight breaks out, the Golden Dragon Society might come in and attempt to mediate it. We might bump into them when they do. Do not, under any circumstances, stir up trouble with the GDS, got it? Yes, boss! After all the wild dogs finished giving their energetic answer, Wayne turned his back to them and sat at a dimly lit counter in the back. It was apparently the boss's favorite seat. Now I see why that seat was empty in this packed store. As though the formal matters had ended, the store grew noisy again. Dazzling women surrounded Wayne. Unsurprisingly, the boss must be popular. Women in clothes that left them nearly exposed surrounded him seductively. King? However, the apparently stoic Wayne seemed to show no interest in them. What do we do? We heard what Wayne had to say. Let's go. I can't stand drunks. Yeah, they don't let underage kids like us drink. Yeah, so, shall we go? These people are really sad. Even though everyone's gathered and about to eat. They showed up early and finished eating first, since they can't blend in with the others. They were completely incapable of blending in with the happy clamor around them. It felt uncomfortable. Who's the random person there? What the fuck? Even though the wild dogs were supposed to be a place for them to belong. The three of them made to leave the store as Elle followed them. I'm surprised she didn't try to talk to Wayne. At that moment, Wayne just happened to turn around and notice Elle. Okay, I'll let Wayne do it. Rapunzel? Good day to you, Wayne. The moment he realized it was Elle, Wayne's eyes narrowed. What are you doing here? Oliver, why do you bring her to a dangerous place like this? Madame Rose is the one who asked that she'd be taken care of. How have you forgotten that? I decided my own to follow them here. I wanted to say hello to you, Wayne. Thanks. Is that so? Forgive me for shouting all of a sudden. Have you had any trouble getting settled in? Have they been doing a good job looking after you? They have! Thanks to them, I've been feeling great. They've done a lot to make it easy for me. Wayne, if you wouldn't mind doing it, I'd like it if you'd congratulate them for what they've done for me. When Wayne stared at them, the three all went rigid with forced smiles. Seems you've done well. Please continue to look after her. Of course, Wayne. Looking after a person's no sweat, even for us. Wayne, about the employment agency matter, could we also... Oliver. Wayne looked at him silently and threateningly. His hangers-on giggled. I believe you'd already been given the job of looking after her. That's right. I trusted you. No, I still trust you. I've never once thought you were useless. However, now is the time for you to think carefully about what's really important for you. What can you do? Along with your comrades, think long and carefully. Yes, sir. I'm counting on you regarding Rapunzel. I won't let you slide if she's inconvenienced. Yes, boss. Wayne turned his back on them. Oliver bowed to that back, then turned around himself. Don't go bothering Wayne anymore, you hear? After all, don't you have another skill that's just perfect for earning you food money? Yeah, that's right. I think you're much more suited to that than bodyguards.
Shut up! We've got no instruments we'd waste on you. Let's go, Oliver. Once we successfully finish the job Wayne entrusted us with, I'm sure our stock will rise someday. Yeah, you're right. The three left the restaurant and returned to the second floor of the music instrument store. Shit's fucked, dude. Feels bad. Can't wait for it to go to fucking shit. You know, the family, that is. And we're on top, and we get a fucking dance on them. Oliver, what on earth happened? The three plopped themselves down on sofas and just lay there. Instead of answering Zell's questions, Oliver just stared at the ceiling. For a while, no one answered, but eventually Nina spoke from a rocking chair. With the failure of a lady of the evening and a pickpocket not allowed to pickpocket, well, it goes without saying that we're talentless and have nothing going for us. But Oliver is different. He used to be serious, a passionate studier, a man completely different from the two of us who couldn't do anything. So what made everyone scorn him so much? To be perfectly honest, I was really mad. Why should you have to be mocked like that when you're fellow wild dogs? Oliver tried too hard. He admired Wayne more than any of the rest of us. He wanted to be acknowledged by Wayne before anyone else. So that backfired on him. He was too impatient to earn credit for something. Well, you definitely tried too hard. I was simply a rat, unable to become a wild dog, much less a wolf. As his eyes stared at the ceiling, the days of his past mistakes flashed by him. What happened? Oh god. Oh my fucking god. Those were different cards too. In the fucking 2 seconds. I wasn't ready, like, for a fucking fight scene, okay? Because now they're, like, rose colors. Like, all red and shit. And I didn't see Leo there, so... And Rose looked different. That was a 10. Fuck. Thank you. Oh my god, it's still not over. Please be over this time. The drunk's massive body flew and the whole table was overturned. The store was filled with the sound of bottles and plates breaking, and the screams of customers caught up in the mess. Oh, this is why he doesn't like drugs. Easy peasy. Hey, what happened to all that bragging, you drunk bastard? I'll teach you that you can never just do whatever you please while I'm in the same store. I'll make it a good hard lesson you'll never forget. Oh my god. What do you do? Nina. I still wish... Oh my god, that was so close. I had more time. Fuck. Thank you. Hey, first battle for this season. And so he beat the crap out of the guy. The guy was a family man and took 3 months to heal. Had to bribe the cops, pay the guy's medical fees, and compensation for lost work. In the end, Wayne and the others were forced to apologize. Oliver went too far. Everyone else was just too soft. The other bodyguards tried to calm drunks down and get them to leave quietly. But you just suddenly started beating the crap out of him. What? Oliver! In Wayne's day, no one was that much of a chicken. Look, he's talking about Wayne's era again. Drunk or not, they're still customers, and you did it in front of a lot of other customers. When you mess up the customers, you mess up the store. Of course, the double whammy was that fewer customers came after that. Even bodyguards are workers at the store. What's the point if you end up hurting their business? It was so important for you to be stronger than the other bodyguards. You just kept spinning your wheels. For a while, Oliver was sort of on edge. Hey, Oliver, where'd you go? I don't need people to slow me down. I settled things myself. Yourself? You mean you went alone? Didn't Wayne tell us to go together? It may be necessary for weaklings like you to gather together. However, that has nothing to do with me. What a little fucking shitbag. Holy fuck. Hey, you just settled things. You just said you settled things. What exactly did you settle now? Oliver was acting unconcerned, but he was covered in scratches and showed clear signs of having been in a scuffle. He was in no mood to talk, so I simply followed the law of the wolves. You beat him up? Did you forget the brat's got the GDS backing him? Oh. Okay, so. Makes sense. He has a history of fucking with the GDS. Good job, fucking Oliver. How could a short-tempered brat like you hope to smooth things over anyway? You knew the guy was looking for a fight all along. Wayne's orders were to stop that from happening, weren't they? I'm more than enough for a job of this level. After all, I've only resolved it myself, haven't I? You. At that moment, the entrance to the store was thrown open and several obviously Chinese people came in. No way they were customers. A glance was all it took to see that they were members of the criminal underworld. Good job, fucking Oliver. Behind them, a Chinese boy with a horribly swelled cheek pointed at Oliver shakily. I hear you have become acquainted with some of our boys. Heh. Talk about bringing your parents to a brat's fight. Crap, they're for the golden. Of course, we understand that this was a fight between children. If this had been a fight between adults, we would not be talking to you right now. We'd simply have kept our mouths shut and riddled this establishment with holes. So, is that beaten rag of yours here for a rematch? Don't provoke him, moron! Somebody get Wayne. Don't make a fuss, fool. There's no need to bother Wayne with something like this. I told you I could resolve this matter myself. Little kids shouldn't get involved. Don't be a fool. Anyway, at the moment we get back, cowards, I'm gonna make a new legend. You're an actual fucking moron. Holy fuck. No wonder Wayne said, get the fuck out of here, dude. Oh my god. Like, yo, Oliver, I was with you and, like, you guys shouldn't be bullied and shit, but, like, what the fuck is up with you, dude? This is, like, just suicidal. Suicidally dumb. All these people are, like, 100% gonna have, like, all these flaws they have to overcome, right? Well, it probably would have become a legend if he'd actually accomplished anything. In the end, it became such a big mess that not only Wayne, but Cyrus heard about it. They also knew about Oliver's track record. Well, you can guess the rest. That's no good. Oliver pretended not to be listening, but the book he was pretending to read was upside down. However, he was eventually unable to bear Azel's silent gaze. If you want to laugh, go ahead. I won't laugh. Please do. He'll be less awkward that way. Okay, I'll start laughing then. Zel grinned, then burst out laughing. I like her. Even though he told her to do that, Oliver seemed shocked. Well, that's boys for you. You guys run wild with you, then screw up all the time. Don't go saying whatever pops into your head just because it doesn't concern you. Do you want to worry about it? Do you want to get depressed? I don't think so. You want to clear your bad name someday and get Wayne to acknowledge you. Isn't that how you really feel? Over and over again you sulk about and then get impatient again and screw up the exact same way. Forget clearing my name. Wayne already. You think so? If Wayne hated you, wouldn't he just kick you out of the Wild Dogs right away? He didn't do that. That means he still thinks of you as a comrade. Wayne thinks of me that way? Yeah, I guarantee it. Are boys the kind of generous creatures who want to hang around with people they hated without kicking them out? True. They aren't, are they? The Wayne you respect so much wouldn't start hating you because you acted like a young person. I guarantee it. Is that right? But Oliver had been about to lash out at her. However, Zel had been gazing at him so directly that he had been forced to swallow his words. More importantly, I was really pissed off today. All those people calling us dropouts? Even if you say that, we've got nothing we can brag about. I'm a bastard. Charles is just a brat if he can't pickpocket. Lady of the evening who can't attract customers is pretty hopeless, too. Nothing to brag about. Yeah, right. You actually do have a skill you can be a bit proud of, don't you? Even the wild dogs were talking about it. Didn't you say something about it too, Nina? That you had no instruments you'd waste on them? Zell clapped her hands and looked around. Yeah, we're gonna... Oh my god, it's a fucking idol part! This place filled with haphazardly piled instrument cases was a musical instrument drop. Could it be that you can play all play instruments? The old man who ran this store taught us. He was an eccentric geezer. We got to avoid the morning dew, so it wasn't a bad deal. He was full of kind words. He even said we could live in his apartment if we practiced with musical instruments. He said something about kids having to learn music to brighten our dark future. The elderly owner of the music shop had gathered the alley boys and spoken to them. If they took music lessons every day, they could live in his apartment as long as they wanted. Sounds like a good person. But the old guy sure was ridiculously strict. About 10 people spent their nights here at first, but everyone gave up pretty soon. After all, his lessons were tough. I imagine his scheme was to teach us tricks and turn us into a show. I'm grateful to him. He may have been strict, but he wasn't mean. I think of him as a great person, who taught something human to a bunch of alley rats whose only talent was fishing through garbage. So all you can play? Wow, I want to hear. Well, I've lost interest. But if Zell wants to hear, I'd like to do it again. Reluctant as always, Oliver. Let's do it. Doing stuff like this now and then has to be good for your fortune, right, Zell? Exactly. Let's hear you play. It's a request from Zell. All right. Let's perform a bit. What'll you take? The piano is all I can play. Then I'll take the violin. Violin? What about you, Nina? That typing is weird to me. If you two are taking those, might as well grab a string bass. The three of them scattered and noisily grabbed instruments from all around the room. Apparently they had hardly used them at all lately. As they tuned, they checked their tone, and grumbled about every imperfection. This might be a bit pathetic with just 3 of us. Who cares? We aren't an orchestra after all. We're a band alley of rats. Alley rats. Okay, I guess we'll just play whatever until Zell's happy. Yes, please do. Thank you, Zell. I don't even get to hear it? Whatever. As the fucking sad music swells. Has there been any trouble with Chinatown since then? It's like there's never a problem to begin with. You can bet we've got Lee's orders to thank for it. The specials offers window must be very appealing to them. They've probably given orders to prevent any open trouble, regardless of what happens behind the scenes. There's been no sign of movement from the GDS, but we still get little fights between low-level laborers. There's been quarrels here and there between Japanese and Chinese laborers sitting around the agency. Even if we got an understanding with Lee, it's gonna get messy if we leave things like this for long. I understand. Still, let's wait for Lee's answer. We don't have time to waste. We should push him to hurry. True. Fuck Lee. Honestly, just fuck him. We don't... What do we owe him? Seriously. The fuck do we owe him? No, we can't do that. I want to establish the 2 unions through the agreement of both parties. If we push one-sidedly, then even if we succeed, it'll surely lead to trouble in the future. See, if we start taking steps to create the union, it kind of forces his hand, right? Because we're going forward no matter what. And we're telling him, hey bro, you got until like the end of the month to decide. We're gonna start establishing the union in the meantime, because we want to get this ball rolling. However, we can't leave things be either. I agree. Fistfights are well and good, but you never know when some idiot's gonna pull out a knife or a gun. If someone dies, it'll mean war. Regardless who is at fault, the GDS can't afford to look weak. If that happens, we'll have no choice but to fight back. Even if the tops of both organizations don't want to fight, It's possible for a few to break out. I understand that. We cannot wait forever. It still isn't too late to set a deadline for Lee's response, and we should do so. If he breaks it, we will deem him untrustworthy and push the establishment of the Union by force. Unless he breaks our trust in some clear way, I cannot do that. We have no time. We need to announce the Union establishment as soon as possible and curb the influx of laborers. If we can get them out of the way, we'll be able to manage the situation. There were rumors that half of the crowd at the agency were laborers from other cities. It would be unfortunate for them, but by prioritizing residents of City 23, Primavera would be able to save the countrymen it was obligated to protect. However, without Chinatown's approval, the Chinese laborers would be kicked out as well. Fuck them. Let's wait just a little longer. I want to be getting along harmoniously with Lee when we advance. Only the Japanese are our countrymen. I believe excessive concern for Chinese happiness lies outside the bounds of our duty, does it not, Bounce? Please wait just a little longer. If you say so, then we just have to obey. I'll have my people keep an eye out. I'll have them even more on their guard. That's the most we can do. We're counting on you, Madam and Richard. I mean, we're kind of fucked. Either way. Correct. Regardless of how it appears on the surface, the deal we move forward with will be favorable to Primavera. Yeah, because we came with the deal. Obviously, it's going to be favorable to us. It's in our territory. However, we have no way to obtain special offers windows except through Primavera. The Council of Elders, obsessed with making money on their special offers windows side job, are strongly hostile towards Primavera. They probably won't agree to anything Primavera proposes. In other words, we won't be able to gain those long sought after City 23 special offers windows, unless we make enemies of the Council of Elders. So I believe the question is whether we please those VIPs in the Council of Elders or not. The person on the other end of the phone line gave Lee a short answer. Lee chuckled and nodded slightly. I thought you would say that, young lord. I understand it would be quite troublesome if we were to neglect our elders. So that young elder's 100% that chick we saw. That little tiny girl. And I would not be surprised if it ended up like Zell's related to her, like sister. I could see that happening. 100%. Of course, they have placed no time limit on our answers. Or like, a maid for her. No time limit on our answer, but we will damage their trust if we keep them waiting for too long. Yes, forgive me. I will make efforts to do so. In that case, I will wait to hear from you again, young lord. Goodbye.